most famous physical therapist on the internet.
Hi, folks. I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, I'm working on my anterior tilt. Brad Heineck, physical therapist.
Together, we're the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of course.
So, yes,
Bob.
that's the title of today's program. Is an anterior or posterior pelvic tilt causing your back pain? How to tell and how to correct it.
Right.
We're going to go into the deep weeds here on this one, Brad. By the way, if you're new to our channel, please take a second to subscribe to us. We provide videos on stay healthy, fit, pain-free, and we upload every day. Also, go to bobandbrad.com. Go to the giveaway section because this week we're giving away the Bob and Brad. You can also go to Facebook. It'll be pinned to the top of the page. Go to Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok if you want a 60-second version of our program where we don't ramble. And what else do we have, Brad?
Oh, podcast, Bob. We do have podcasts out now with some excellent interviews.
So this video was inspired by Stuart McGill. He wrote the book, The Back Mechanic, and it's a very good book. I'd recommend it if you have back pain. You're going to be able to need to do a pelvic tilt, though, however, if you want to find out whether or not an anterior or posterior pelvic tilt is causing your back pain. So I'm going to show that to you in just a minute. Let's show on the spine here, Brad, what an anterior pelvic tilt is. Can you be in the same position? All right. So we're looking at the ilium here, the pelvis. Now, if I bend forward like this, rotate it forward, you see how I'm doing that?
Yep.
That's going to arch your back.
So, whoop.
Yep. And that's going to bring all the spines together and all the joints together, and you could compress them, and it could actually cause you some pain.
Right.
Reverse of that would be a posterior pelvic tilt. So I'm reversing it, and now I'm putting kind of a flexion moment on the back, which can cause problems with the disc.
Right.
Cause a bulging disc, a herniated disc over time.
Right.
So that's what we're trying to do here. And I want you to be able to do that to yourself so that you know where the pelvis is in space and you can correct it. So
this is one of those things that that you may have difficulty at first trying to make that. It's like being a belly dancer, you're gonna. It's like same thing as doing that, but much slower and more. You got a lot more time to think about it. But once you get good at it, and you can actually feel it, then this will become very easy.
And I'm gonna get on the floor, Brad. So usually when we teach people, what we first do is just have them lie down on a surface, usually even hard plinth. What we do is I often put my hand in here. And I'll have squish my hand.
Right.
That's a posterior pelvic tilt. You see how I'm
doing? Yeah, because that's very clear. And this is the way I almost always do it with a patient.
Can you see my belt?
Yeah. So if we look at his belt, go ahead and put your hand. There you go. So
I'm squishing the hand, and that's a posterior pelvic tilt. Posterior means back.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I go anterior, see what I'm doing there? This belt is going forward. It's like if you're standing, you're tipping a bucket one way or tipping a bucket the other way, and water is spilling out.
Right. And this all has to do with core muscles.
Right. So now if you have trouble with it, this is the pelvic rocker. It's made by OPTP. They sent us one, so we thought we'd give it a try here. This is really easy, Brad, to get a feel for it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's oh my goodness, what's that?
It's my microphone.
Just put it on your first.
Yeah.
Actually, put it on your stomach, Bob. It'll show right there. Go ahead. There.
All right. I think we've
done
enough obscene moves here.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, how are you going to tell whether or not it's giving you any pain? And these are by Dr. McGill.
Sure.
So, the first one is you're going to take a weighted, a 5-pound weight.
Right behind you on the floor.
Okay. Oh, right behind me. Brad, I'll give you one. Now, Brad does have spondylolisthesis.
Right. So I got a shift mechanical problem in my back that's clearly there.
So you take the 5-pound weight and you keep it close to you. And at first, we're assuming you've learned how to do the pelvic tilt. What should we do first, Brad? Should we do anterior? Posterior?
Well, let's do posterior.
Okay, posterior. So we're moving it back.
Yep.
We're flattening out the back. And you feel how your back feels like that.
Right.
Then compare it with the arch where you put the posterior, you move the pelvis forward now,
Yep.
and compare it to that.
And we're using the weight just because it puts a little stress on the back to
right.
make it a little more clear.
Now you can go right in the middle, find the spot in the middle, and that's usually where we want you to be.
Yep. Okay.
Not
I'm there.
forward, not back, in the
Mhm.
middle.
Yep.
All right. Now, did that bother you at all, Brad?
Well, yeah. With me, if I arch my back this way, it's not comfortable.
Okay.
There's pressure there. Not real sharp pain, but it's not comfortable. When I go the other direction, things feel better.
So you actually might be one that wouldn't be in neutral. You might actually be better off having a posterior tilt.
Yep. A little more. Yep.
Yeah, a little bit anyway.
And you know that is almost certainly due to my spondylolisthesis.
Right. So now, if you want to make it worse, you can actually put it out like this, and then do the same thing, the same test, because now you're increasing. You know, through physics,
Yep.
the beauty of science, where you're actually. Well, I actually feel a little stress on my back
Yep.
with that.
So just a longer lever arm
Yeah.
puts more stress on it.
I actually feel more on extension,
Yeah.
but a little bit on posterior pelvic tilt too. So I put it right in the middle, and that is the best.
So yeah. So then you just need to practice keeping that neutral or pain-free position with your exercises and daily activities.
Now, another one you can do is actually do the same thing. I'm going to go to the posterior, and then I'm actually drop on my heel a little bit.
So we're dropping to put some compressive.
Right, force on there. And the
Right.
same thing, I'm going to do an anterior pelvic tilt and just drop on my heel.
So you compare
Yeah.
anterior.
Posterior and neutral,
Neutral,
right
yeah.
in the middle, and compare it.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's definitely
Any
better.
problem?
It's better for me when I'm back than
Sure,
forward.
sure.
Not a big pain.
All right, now this next one, I don't want you to do, if any of these already bothered you, there's no reason to do this one.
Mhm.
This is maybe more for the weightlifter. And this would be, I like my son to try this one because he's having trouble with, I think, anterior pelvic tilt. So he's going to take a weighted bar. This bar weighs 45 pounds. I'm actually going to put it up on my shoulder and like this. And now I'm going to do a pelvic tilt, Brad.
Okay.
So I'm a posterior pelvic tilt.
So he's pulling it this way.
Now I'm doing an anterior pelvic tilt. I can turn to the side if I don't hit you.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Thank you, Bob.
Okay.
So we're looking. There we
Here's
go.
an anterior pelvic tilt
This way.
and posterior pelvic tilt.
Yep.
And right in the middle.
Right in the middle.
And again, my son, I think he does way too much of an anterior pelvic tilt when he's lifting.
Arching that
And
back.
he's got to learn to find that neutral spot
Right.
and lift like that and
Yep.
squat like that.
I'm assuming
So-
that's. See, I'm not a weightlifter, but I'm assuming those back belts promote that.
Yeah,
neutral
probably
position.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So, how do you correct this? One, you already started because you found out neutral is where you
Yep.
want to be.
Yep.
A good one to use is the Booyah stick or a stick.
Yeah. Then you don't have to have a 45-pound
Right.
weight there.
But if you arch too much, you could not feel the pelvis
Switch
against
hands
it.
once, Bob. It would be
Sure.
much easier to see. So we're talking about right here, the gap here. Go ahead and arch.
Yeah. See, that's too much. That's too much of an arch.
Mhm.
You want to be.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Pinch me.
Yeah. So, and plus, you want to make sure you have contact at 3 points.
Here.
If I have
here, and
contact at only 1 point, I'm too rounded out. If I have contact on my head, mid back, and low back,
Yeah.
that's where you want to be. And now you can do squats and keep that back straight while you're doing it.
Those squats aren't going to make it's not a strengthening squat. It's a postural.
It's a technique,
Right,
to,
right.
to learn the proper technique. Another one Stuart McGill does is he actually just has you come up and lean against the wall like this, and you find out like you do an anterior pelvic tilt, posterior pelvic tilt, and find that middle and see if it feels okay there. And you can actually work on extending and flexing your hips by keeping your back straight in that neutral position while you're doing it.
So you're training yourself to maintain that neutral position.
Right. It's almost like a little bit of a plank.
Sure.
You're-
Right. It's
yeah.
halfway between horizontal and
All right, and the
Vertical.
final one I'm going to show you is you're just going to go ahead. You're going to get yourself in a outfielder's position, not an infielder. I'm sorry, infielder's position. You're going to be like this,
Yeah.
right?
Athletic stance. Some
Yeah,
people
athletic
call it.
stance. Again, you're going to find the right tilt that you want.
Yep.
This is too much. This is the other way. I'm right in the middle. Now I'm going to anti-shrug my shoulders because I don't want my shoulders to be up.
Yep.
And by doing that, I'm actually tightening up my lats
Okay.
to support my back a little bit. And I'm going to tighten up my stomach too.
Okay.
And now I'm in the right position. Now for lifting,
Sure.
for carrying,
Yep.
that's the position you want to be in if you have to bend over.
Sure.
So just work on that. And again, don't forget to tighten the abdomen. The abdomen
Yeah.
is really key for providing bracing around the back.
Right. They call that intra-abdominal forces support the spine, that low back.
So again, I know the word out on the street is often that it's anterior pelvic tilt, but posterior pelvic tilt is just as bad.
Sure.
So check it out and find out which one you have.
Good luck with it.